my Facebook friends. It is I, Will. It is good to be here. Let's do this. Let's wait for a few of you to arrive, and I'm just going to have a little sip of water over here. Hope you've been having a good day. Let's take a sip of that. It is good to be here. It is good to be here. Today, I am going to talk about the 7 secrets of calm. Hey, we've got some faces. People showing up. It can sometimes take a while to find this stuff on the feed. I want to just know about lighting, sound. Tell me how it all looks and sounds and all those good things, if that's at all possible. And hi, Teresina. Good to see you. Carol, nice to see you. Victoria, good to see you. Let's keep this train rolling. Who else is out there? Let's have a little session of saying hello. Oh, nice to hear it's all good. Good to hear from you, Carol. Light is good, sound is good. Teresina, thank you. Let me briefly talk about. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before I really get into this. Wahida, great to see you. Anyone else want to say hi? Hey, Denise, nice to see you. Hey, Sari? I don't know if I pronounced your name right there. Elizabeth, lovely to see you. Great to see you. Anyone else want to say hey? It'd be nice to say hey. It'd be nice to say hello and connect. This is what this is all about. I just want to connect with you guys. I want to leave you feeling... Sari sounds like Harry. Very cool. Sari Taylor. What a lovely name. I've never heard that name before. Sari like Harry. Very, very cool. It's all about connecting with you guys. That's what I do here, and it's about keeping an open heart, keeping an open mind, and making sure that I let you know that I'm just as human as anyone else. And that's been my message from the beginning, and I hope it's the message that I can keep going till the day I die. Really, I think we all need to feel like we're in this thing together, and that none of us alone feeling how we feel or going through what we're going through, or it's really important that we know we're all here in this human to human connection. But I just want to start with a couple of things. First thing is, excuse me and apologies for making the group public for about 3 minutes. That was a massive mistake. It was actually an accident. I was trying to tweak the settings to get me or get you guys to be able to share my stuff, which, by the way, if you feel like you want to share this podcast from today, then please do. I'd love you to. I believe you can share just stuff on your feed if you want to, if you so shall wish. But the point is, I got that wrong, and so we were public for a little bit, and loads of you were commenting in like, "Fucking hell, Will! No way! There is no way that I want this thing to be public. I do not want people to be able to see what I can write and see what I'm saying and all these things." And I'm like, my friend, I hear you out. I hear you loud and clear. This group, I want this group to be private. I want you to feel, hey Wendy, I want you to feel like you have that safety, security being in here. Like you can say what it is you want to say. Can I just do something? I'm just going to turn up the brightness a little bit. That's cool. Cool, here we go. That was the first thing. The second thing, I want to talk about the dancing. The dancing. Now, I love to dance. I always have. And I've always noticed that I'm quite good at really expressing every movement that my body wants to do. So it's coming from soul, if you will. But I've also been around a lot of people who feel quite stiff and things like that. because they're not quite sure about how they look and all those things. Now, the point of the matter is, and the point of that whole post was, when you dance with just freedom of expression, it becomes a very conscious, very empowering activity, because you let go about what people think. And that pervades every area of your life. And then the other part of the challenge was to then maybe post that, and that was going to be about stepping outside of your comfort zone. But the point was, it doesn't matter if you didn't do it. It was just a bit of fun, and I was really just made up about how it made us all. It felt like all of us just came together as wellness warriors. Comment below here if you felt that same thing. I felt like it was one of the biggest breakthroughs in connection that we've all had together in this journey so far, on the World's Wellness Warrior journey. Tell me if you think you agree in the comments below, because I really felt like I was reading the comments and I was looking at the interaction, and so many of you had enjoyed it, but you'd also a lot of you had shown the humility and honesty to say, look, I'm not brave enough to do that. And I'm so much more interested in people being honest like that than pretending that they really can do it and then kind of like half kind of creating excuses as to why they didn't do it. I'm so much more admiring of someone who just goes, look, I'm not brave enough to do that. That's me. And for me, weirdly enough, I think that shows more confidence. What do you guys? Yes, it was a great connection. Yes, it was, Teresina. I do, even though I was chicken to do it. Yeah, it's not the easiest, is it, Wendy? But the point of the matter is that I'm far more interested, and I'm far more admirable of someone who can be honest about not being brave enough to do something. And I think that shows more confidence, in a way, because the more we own who we really are, even if we have to admit that we're not perfect and that we're not so full of confidence, that to me speaks volumes about our levels of confidence. That says more about who you really are than pretending that you're confident enough to do something. So it's a bit of a paradox, that one, but I just want to just round this intro off by saying, firstly, if you love this group, please share it with your friends and invite them along for the ride. It'd be great. Secondly, you can, I believe, share this podcast with your own feed if you want to. And thirdly, my good God, did I enjoy doing that dancing. And thank you for your comments. I felt really nervous before doing it. I'll be really, really honest with you. I was loading up the camera and my heart was doom, doom, doom like this. Oh, fucking hell. Because it's one thing dancing. It's another thing filming yourself dancing. So it was really a very nerve-wracking experience for me too. But I was glad I did it. And thank you so much for all your involvement. It was so, so, so cool. Thank you. Let's get to it, my friends. Let's get to it. So we got 7 secrets of calm I just want to cover. So the very first is to get your gut under control. Because what happens is, if we drink alcohol or have lots of fructose from like just junky food, basically, processed food, it feeds the wrong bacteria in our gut. What that does is give us IBS symptoms. So comment below if you guys have ever, well, by the way, you might not want to admit if you've had IBS symptoms, but like, yes, I am. I'm farting actually right now. No. But IBS is a symptom of the wrong bacteria being fed. And the best way to get a handle on that is to reduce alcohol intake and also just sugar in general. Because what happens if you have IBS is it directly leads to a lack of nutritional absorption from your food. If that's happening, you're most likely to bump into anxiety, because if you're not absorbing magnesium and B12, these are these 2 minerals I want you to remember today. One's a mineral, one's a vitamin actually. But vitamin B12 and magnesium are absolutely crucial for you feeling calm. And what people tend to do is take B12, take magnesium, take B12, take magnesium, and do this, and actually not get the results of calm that they're looking for. And the reason why is that the gut is just in such an unhappy place. So here are my 3 big tips to improve the health of your gut and therefore feel so much calmer. The first thing is to reduce sugar intake as much as possible. That includes dried fruit, it includes sweets, chocolates, anything you can where you can just really eliminate as much sugar as possible. And if you want to have your sugar, I recommend just having it on one day per week where you have your treats. So like for me, it's like a Sunday. I just say, right, fuck it. It's Sunday. I'm going to let my hair down and have some fun. The second thing to do to help that gut and help your calmness is reduce alcohol. I don't drink personally because it just doesn't do my anxiety any good whatsoever. So it's up to you. I mean, the thing is, some people can tolerate alcohol really well. If you just kind of have this knowing that you know alcohol isn't agreeing with you, and yet you're drinking because you feel like you should, because it's social, because other people are doing it, because da-da-da, well, it could be time to grow a backbone. Grow a backbone and be yourself and be authentic and be true to who you are. Because if you know alcohol isn't contributing to your health, then maybe it could be time just to say no. The third thing to help improve your gut is to fast. I recommend fasting every single day. It's otherwise known as intermittent fasting. But fasting, the more I read about it, I've read a good 15 or more books on just fasting alone. The more I read about it, the more I'm blown away at what it does to heal the body. Now, I don't need to go into the science of what that is because it's quite complex. But to put it simply, when you fast, every little thing that's on inside in your body that's potentially making you feel unsure, uneasy, anxious, and weird and not sure and just like tense, anything that's going on in your body in that way, fasting will heal. And to me, that is fucking mind-blowing. Just not eating heals your body. I find that absolutely remarkable. So if you want to heal an anxious body, just don't eat. Don't eat every day till about 1 or 2 o'clock. And I promise you, you're going to feel quite dramatic shifts. I've seen people literally become happier. Actually, genuinely happier as a human being by just not eating until about 1 or 2 o'clock every day. Because of what it does to the body to heal. There's actually, if you want to know, I found this really interesting. There are actually retreats now. You can look at this up online, where people go with cancer. They literally go with full-blown cancer. And the power of fasting is so great that they literally fast for 20 to 30 to 40 days with this much food. Just water. Because of what happens in the body, the healing mechanisms that go on can only go on and take place in the absence of food. So I really, truly, my friend, I recommend that you try fasting at least 5-6 days out of 7 until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you have any questions, I'm not going to talk any more about that, but if you have any questions on those first 3 things I've just talked about, and the fasting and the thing and just the IBS, if you want any questions, please, my friend, ask me. Either in the comments below or just PM me. Okay. The second secret to calmer living is to breathe. So just let's breathe. Let's all do this right now. And I'm going to really coach you on how to breathe for calm. Now, what we tend to do is we tend to breathe here, just in our chest. And what that leads to is this sort of feeling of tension. But when we take a deep breath in through our nose, and imagine when you're breathing out here that you're pulling a thread. So even put your fingers, if you want, right next to your lips like this. So take a deep breath in. Let's all just do this together. Let's take a deep breath in. And then thread. Let's go again. Deep breath in. And what you notice is, if you do 4 seconds in and 6 to 8 seconds out, your whole system calms down. Now, the reason why it does is when you breathe deeply, you trigger the vagus nerve. It's a little nerve. It's just here in the chest. And the vagus nerve triggers the release of serotonin. So you are literally right now producing something like, according to research, 25% more serotonin, which is your relaxation hormone, than if you had just been breathing in here. 25% calmer just by pulling the thread for a few breaths. Isn't that cool? I just love that. I think that's the fucking coolest thing, that we've just got these tools in our body just completely free. It's not like we have to go down and spend money on something for us to make us feel good. If we just want to feel good, we can do it right now by just breathing with that thread. And I want to just go in to tell you, there was a thing I was listening to. It was a Wayne Dyer, who some of you may have heard of, but he's very, very famous. He's passed away, sadly, but he was a phenomenal self-help guru back in the day. And Wayne was reciting this story. Now, he'd spoken to Deepak Chopra, who, again, some of you may have heard of. And he's talking to Deepak Chopra, and anyway, this is how the story goes. So Wayne's like this. He's like, "Oh, Deepak, listen, buddy, I've got this thing I'm trying to sort out, and I don't know what to do, and I'm just unsure." And then Deepak just interrupts and says, "Meditate." And then Wayne goes, "Well, yeah, but Deepak, see, you don't understand, because really, like, honestly, like I've got this thing with the money, because I don't know with the wife, and because we're trying to get this divorce." Meditate. And he just keeps doing this. He's like, "Well, yeah, but you meditate. But you do meditate." And he just like does this over and over and over. And the point about what Deepak is saying in his humor is just fucking meditate. Just meditate. Like, we haven't got problems until we make them a problem in our mind. And by getting stressed about stuff that is going on in here, is very easy to eliminate when we just meditate. Because when we meditate, we observe, and we just observe our breathing. And in doing so, we notice that really that problem we have in our lives, that repetitive thought that we have in our lives, that worry that might be going on, they only really exist and have power when we give them power. And the way we give them power is by judging them, by being involved in them, by having thoughts and buying into them and just going down the rabbit holes of thoughts. But actually, if we meditate, we really begin to notice that we are the creator of our problems, which is a big pill to swallow. But by swallowing that pill, we open the gateway to spiritual freedom. Because by realizing we are the creator of our problems, it means that also we are the creator of our solutions as well. And so if you want to really grasp the secret of calmer living, meditate. And meditate every day for the rest of your life. It is the one thing, if as warriors you don't do any other thing, but you do just one thing, it is just to cement meditation. I will die a happy man. I will go to the grave contented if I can just make one person in this universe, one person, cement the habit of meditation every single day. I will die a happy man, because it is more impactful than any other habit we could develop. So if you can, wake up in the morning, do your pee, meditate. Wake, pee, meditate. Let's go to secret number 3. Secret number 3 is to go through what I call the clarity, calm, and confidence routine. Now, it's a breathing routine. We can do this together. Let's do this on the call. Let's do this for a bit of fun. I want your comments below if you can. Bring your feedback. How are you finding it? How did you find it? Let's go through the breathing. Did you find it difficult? Did you find it easy? I'd really like to know in the comments below. Let's go through the clarity. Now, this is a morning routine that you can do to really set up your day for calmer living. And the first one is to get clarity. Now, clarity comes from shamanic breathing, because what shamanic breathing does is really oxygenate your brain. And the more oxygenated it is, the more clear you feel. And you feel this wonderful sense of clarity and direction as to where that day is going. The more direction you have, the less likely it is you're going to get taken off down rabbit holes and get stressed and all those things. So let's do 10 shamanic breaths. I'll show you them. This is how they go. And what you can do at the end to round them off is just just shake your head, do whatever you need to do, roll your neck, just hang loose. Let everything just get really relaxed, and a lot of your body language, just let it go. You can tell I don't really care what people think of me, can't you? Especially given that my hair is just a fucking joke as well. But the point is, hang loose on this. Get really loose and just give me 10. Go flat out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. For 10, you might feel a bit like, woo. But that's when you're feeling all that dizzy. That's good, that's fine, that's just all the oxygen working. At that point, just and get all loose. Get your mouth loose, get your cheeks loose, and you'll notice how calm it makes you feel. Because you just feel really buzzy. You feel clear. It's a really good way to start the day. So what I want you to do, this is the first part, it's clarity. When you get up in the morning, do the shamanic breaths. Now, I can do in one go, because I've been working at this for a long time, I can do in one go 300 shamanic breaths. Now, if you tried that without having done much shamanic breathing before, you will probably pass out. Build it up and build it up and build it up. And what you're going to notice is, because you're going to be more oxygenated in the day, because of this start to the day, you're going to be more clear, more conscious, more connected. You're going to get more done. You're going to feel calmer. Shamanic breathing. Set yourself the challenge to see how many you can do in a row without basically passing out week after week. And my recommendation is try kind of like a 4-week program where each week you try and increase the amount of breaths you do in one go by 5, 10, 15, and just build it and see where you go with it. Experiment with it, see where you go with it. The second breath technique is for calm, and that's what we've just covered, which is the thread. So number 1, shamanic breathing. Number 2, for calm, is the thread, where you pull the thread out of your mouth. And number 3, confidence. Now this is like a chant we're going to do now, okay? Have a bit of fun with this. If there's someone in the living room next to you who's watching you do this or hearing you do this, have a bit of fun with it. Care less about what people think. Let's give this a little crack. So this is a bit of chanting. And what it's designed to do is get you to just let out anything in these areas that could be stored up. So I'll show you an example. This is about building confidence. So you go, and then, and it's just a way of just getting a vibration going on in this part of the body. What that does is leave you feeling very just confident. It's a really confident feel because you're creating this vibration. And by vibrating your vagus nerve, you're releasing more serotonin. Serotonin, again, makes you feel really calm. So if you want, let's do the 1, 2, 3, shall we? Let's do 5 shamanics, then let's do 5 calms, and then let's do 5 confidence. Are we ready to go? I want to comment below. If you're ready to go, I want you to just comment in, yes, I'm ready to go. Just comment that in now. I'm going to have a sip of water before we do this. Okay. Comment in. Are we ready to go? Thumbs up. Yeah? Go. Let's do shamanic. Ready? That was 5 shamanic breaths. I'll wait for you to get those done. 5 shamanic breaths. Next one, calm. Let's do 5 calm breaths. Ready? Number 3, confidence. Breathe in and then just let it loose. Feel the vibration. Make a noise. Just make any noise you want. If it's a squeak, if it's a vibration, it doesn't matter. Just make a noise. Deep breath in. Oh. Oh. No. And that's 5. And even if it just made you laugh because you were laughing at me, I've done my job. Or because it made someone else laugh at you who's in your living room right now or whatever. Even if it just makes us giggle because we just sound stupid, that's the result we want. Fucking hell, life's way too serious sometimes. We've got to just lighten up and have some fun. And if that was a bit of fun, amazing. But if it also felt really good, like you feel really good right now, then that's awesome. It's a routine I want you to repeat. It's the 1, 2, 3 clarity, shamanic breathing, rapid. 2, calm, pull the thread. Number 3, get the vibration going. 1, 2, 3. There's a routine that I want you to practice in the morning as part of your meditation routine for calmer living and just help you feel in control. Moving on. My friends, I love being here. I love you and I love being here. It really is a joy. I really feel like this is my purpose in life, and thank you so much for letting me live my purpose and being here. It would be a very quiet party if you weren't here, wouldn't it? Let's move on. Here they are. Now, number 4, supplements and nutrition for calmer living. Now, over here, if you see this, is a supplement I want, if you can afford it, or if you just want to, like you don't have to listen to everything I say. This stuff will transform your life. Now, you've got to get this specific one. I have tried, I'm not kidding, in the last 7 years of my well-being journey, I have tried literally about 25 different magnesiums. I've also read about 30 books just on the subject of magnesium. How is my fascination with this thing? Buddhists call magnesium, it's it's backwards. I'm sorry, I can't help but. Does that better? Does that work now? I don't know. Is that still the same? It's doctor's best. High absorption magnesium. Doctor's best. Now, Buddhists call magnesium the Zen mineral. And the reason why they call it that is because it helps you live a more Zen life. The thing about this, though, is that if you're going to get the results from magnesium, which is improved sleep and way less anxiety, much more calm, in control of your body, your energy, there's over 300 enzymatic processes that take place from magnesium alone, and it is so deficient in our diets today. If you want the results from this, you've got to get the dose right. Now, a lot of people are afraid of taking a higher dose of magnesium because I recommend people take, like, listen, you're going to be maybe a bit blown away about this, but out of this tub here, per day, I can take sometimes 10 to 20 tablets in one day. And some of you might be looking at this going, you're a freak, you're overdosing magnesium, Will Foster, which I can understand. What I would say is, you don't have to take my word for it. I want you to research more on magnesium and the impact it can have, okay? I also want you to read the book, The Magnesium Miracle by Dr. Carolyn Dean, okay? She is the world's leading expert on magnesium, and I want you to read about how there is no physical way of overdosing on magnesium. It's physically impossible to overdose on it. So the point is if you do overdose, nothing will happen to you apart from I'll say this quietly in case anyone's listening, you'll have the shits. Okay? That's all. You'll just have a few shits. It'll just be slightly runny a poo. That's all that's going to happen. But that's the worst thing that can happen is you go slightly over, maybe 2 or 3 tablets over, and you have not even that runny a poo. It'd just be slightly runnier than normal. If you go under what your body actually needs for magnesium, the detrimental effect to your health and level of calm is actually really profound. And please, my friend, get hold of Doctor's Best Magnesium and start taking higher doses before bed. And if you're, let's say, a small female and you're reasonably active, I would recommend between kind of 3 to 8 capsules before bed. If you're a really active, heavy, muscular male, and I'm not saying I'm muscly, although I carry a little bit of lean muscle mass, I've got to say. I'm about 95 kilos, 15 stone. I'm very, very active. I would need sometimes 10 to 20 of these before bed to really get that deep, deep rest and sleep that enables you to live a calmer life. So, Doctor's Best Magnesium. See if you can get hold of this. And then I want you to really read up on The Magnesium Miracle by Dr. Carolyn Dean. My friends, that is number 4. If shits is the worst that can happen, I mean, come on. Have we all had the shits? I hope I'm not alone. I have definitely had the shits. In fact, if we're going down the poo stories route, I'm going there now. I've got to carry on. One of if not the most embarrassing moment of my life, if you all want to know, was when I got far too drunk, like way too drunk, and it was my 15th birthday party, and I was back at this apartment we were staying at, and my mum had to carry me back through the dunes, and cut long story short, I puked everywhere, I pissed everywhere, and I shat in my mum's hands. Now, I actually didn't know I'd done it. That is how drunk I was that night. The next morning, my mum, I look her in the eye, she goes, "You okay?" You know when you're younger and you just wake up and you don't even I didn't even have a hangover. I just woke up just like, ting, just like, oh, next day, great, fine. Notice how I've got a little bit of shit, dry poo on my legs and I'm feeling a bit ropey and whatever. But I'm sorry, Teresina, you're eating. But anyway, Mum looks at me and just goes, "Do you remember last night?" And I was like, "Not really." And she's like, okay. And anyway, as the day unfolded, she told me. But anyway, I went down the poo story route. I told it, whatever. Moving on. Number 5. We need to let go of what we can't control. Wouldn't it be nice if life was one want to activity after another? Wouldn't it be nice? Is that real? Is that real to life? Can we create that? I don't think we can. I think we can ultimately create a life where we try our best to continually improve on that ratio. I think that we've all got room to introduce more want-to activities into our life. And the point about getting to have want-to activities is they make us feel calmer, because obviously we feel happier because we want to be doing it. Like, if I go surfing, I feel happier, I feel calmer. But I can't always do what it is that I want to do, and I've got to accept that. And being the control freak that I am, I'll be dead honest that I am a control freak. I just 100%. There's me being like honest. I love to have all my ducks in a row. I don't know about you. I don't know if you're like this, but I like to have, like, you know, my morning routine, and I've got my coffee with my wife, and then I go and do my thing, and I do my stretches, and then I've got my, you know, surfing, my writing, seeing clients, and and I have all this stuff. And they're almost all of them are want-to activities. Now, inevitably, some have-tos are going to have to creep in there at some point. And if I reject rather than accept those have-to activities, the activities that are a bit more boring, a bit more mundane, a bit more of the ones I just don't want to be doing, if I don't accept them, I'm going to get myself into stress. So the easiest way to ever increase the amount of calm in your life. Let's say you don't enjoy your job. Let's say you've got a difficult person in your life. Let's say you've got stuff that is you don't like to do or don't want to do. We just got to learn to accept that life presents us resistance. It presents us this resistance, I believe, because it's teaching us patience. It's teaching us humility. It's teaching us to go with the twists and turns of life as opposed to going against. And if we can tune in to what it is, the resistance that we have in our lives is trying to teach us, I believe that we're going to start to unlock the secret to a better life. Because ultimately we can never expect life to be perfect. And I think it's a very, very, very heavy burden that we place on ourselves when we do create that expectation of our lives, of our partners, of our bodies, of our jobs. When we start to create this pressure of wanting this perfect stream of happiness to exist. And ultimately, if we can just learn to accept, which is ultimately the hardest thing, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I think it's the hardest thing that any human has to do, is to accept something that's outside of our control. If we can learn to do that, and it is just a conscious decision. Like, people do say to me, they say, well, how do you do that? Like, when I was on the TV, I was getting ready to go on ITV for my ITV Lorraine gig, and actually, Lorraine herself was talking to me. And she said, Will, she said, I really enjoy your stuff. It's really, really cool. She said, but, this whole thing about people, accepting stuff, but how do they actually do it? Like, it all seems so airy-fairy to me. Like, she was being really honest. She said, look, how do people actually do that? And I said to her, Lorraine, it's really simple. It's just slowing down. It's slowing down to notice what it is that we are doing that's making us unhappy. That's all it is. But people go at such a fast pace, they never slow down enough to hear their own head. Because they're just in the iPhone, they're on the train, they're the next thing, they're doing the cooking, they're constantly, and I'll be the first to admit that I've done this, in need of distraction. And the more we're distracting ourselves from ourselves, the less we get to know what it is that we're doing that's making us unhappy. But if we can just slow down and just listen to our body, to our gut, our thoughts, our heart, like, we just slow down for a moment, and listen, we can go, okay, I think I'm just trying to create control in that department of my life that I can't control. And because I'm doing that, I'm fighting with reality. I'm causing myself unhappiness because I would love things to be the way that they are not, and yet I can't change that. And now that's frustrating me, and now I'm really unhappy, and now I don't know if I did it. And you know what I mean? And it could just become this thing that we create. And it is actually, this goes back to this thing we spoke about at the beginning, which is that the biggest pill I think to swallow in life is to know that we are the ones that can either make us happy or we are the ones that can make us unhappy. We hold 100% responsibility. Outside of, let's say, being born into famine in Africa or having been born into, serious poverty or disease or whatever, aside from those, or war or a war zone, aside from those kinds of things, for most of us, for 99% of us, it really is that we are the masters of our unhappiness. So therefore, we are the masters of our happiness. And I think that's the most empowering pill that we can swallow, because when we swallow it, we go away from, I can't control that, and that's really fucking me off, to, I can't control that, and that's okay. It's the most profound shift that I think we could ever make, because there is so much in our lives that we can't control, and when we just let it go in that way, we feel calmer. So step 6 to a calmer life is let go of trying to control everything in your life. Let's move on to number 7. Number 7 is, that was number 5, number 6. Let's do number 6 real quick. I can run through number 6. Number 6 is the 99 rule. What is the 99 rule? The 99 rule is if you really look at the worries in your life, really genuinely look at them, I want you to now just really just sit in this moment, just listen to these what I'm saying. Think about some of the, maybe the worries you have. Maybe you have no worries. And if you don't, my God, can I have some coaching? But if you, let's say you have some worries or a worry or whatever it may be, I want you to truthfully ask yourself now, what is the chance that's going to happen and that it's going to come true? Have a really honest moment with yourself now. Because the truth is, and this is actually, research has shown this as well, there's that 99% of our greatest worries never, ever, ever come true. And that is incredibly humbling, because it comes back to our previous point. It comes back to our previous point because ultimately worry is only something that we do inside of here. Because the truth is that we're not going to end up in a field naked, alone, with the rain pouring on us, with no one around, starving, with like no water, and maybe a pig has just walked over and taken a shit on us, and that the truth is that is not going to fucking happen. It's really not. And by the way, even if the 1% might happen, you have shown, really think about this, you have shown on previous occasions that you have more strength, courage and resilience to handle the outcomes than you think. If you tonight just journal, do this for me. Write down 3 things, 3 huge challenges that you overcame. And I want you to, beneath each of those 3 challenges, I want you to write down, how did you overcome it? Just a little question. So challenge here, write it down. Underneath, how did I overcome this? Question mark. Bang. Boom, boom, boom. Write that down. I want you to write that down. I want you to then go to the next one. Challenge, boom, in here. How did I overcome this? Boom, boom, boom. Write that down. And I want you to write down the 3 biggest challenges you've either had in your life or are having in your life. Write those down, 1, 2, and 3. And then I want you to write those in that journal once you've written that down, I then want you, if you're someone who worries really easily, I want you to get this piece of paper and I want you to stick it on the fridge. And in your moment of need, I want you just to look at that piece of paper on the fridge and just have a moment to reflect on how it is that you're going to overcome whatever it is that you need to overcome. Because you always will. Human spirit is a remarkable thing, and you always will. Believe in the impermanence in everything, because nature is impermanent by its very virtue. There is light, there is dark. There is night, there is day. There is summer, there is winter. Everything begins, has a middle, and ends. And no matter what it is you're going through, my friend, no matter how much pain you've been in, how much suffering you've gone through, how much difficulty and challenge you've had, there is an impermanence to it. It will end. It always will. Always has, always will. And that is so humbling, because I know that I do that. I've had this thing before, oh, it's this thing, and I get to this thing where it's like, oh no, it's all over. It's like we catastrophize everything, and of course it's not true. It's not true. Of course it's not true. It always passes. It always fucking passes. It's so humbling. I have this worrying thought that comes in my head, and then it's there. And thankfully now I'm so much more skilled at mindfulness, I can just notice it. I don't dive into it. But I notice how it does just come in, and then it just and then leaves. That's thought. Thought doesn't have power over you if you just sit and watch it and observe it. Let's move on. Secret to Karma living, number 7, kindness is the answer. When you perform a random act of kindness, physiologically, what does it do? Physiologically, you produce a massive surge in serotonin. Now, this is going to really, hopefully, blow you away. They did a study that showed performing a random act of kindness raised subject's serotonin levels by 90%. Now, a random act of kindness can take as little as a second. I'll give you an example. If I'm driving along in traffic, one of the things I love to do is just let people through. Like, no matter what. Like, even if I'm way off or close, I'll just slow down. And if someone's indicating, I'll just let them through in the traffic. So you can turn an entire drive that's otherwise something that maybe is a little bit stressful, you've got to concentrate, blah, 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 whatever. You can turn that drive into something that makes you 90%, literally 90% calmer. Because serotonin is your calmness hormone. It's the hormone that really calms you down. So literally you can go on a drive, and by letting people through in the traffic, you will feel calmer. I find that so fucking cool that you can just live a calmer and happier life without even doing anything differently to your life. You haven't got to even change it. You can just let people through in traffic, or buy people a coffee behind you. That's a cool one I quite like. People, buy a stranger a coffee behind you. Say, look, I'll buy your coffee for you. Can I pay for the next person's coffee? And even if they don't get to find out that it was you, that's not the point behind it. The point behind it is you get to just feel that warm glow of performing a random act of kindness. And that's the physiological stuff. The spiritual stuff is that when we are kind to ourselves about fucking up, which we're going to do all the time, I absolutely have never, ever, 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 and I never will be, I'd want to kill myself if I did, I've never wanted to be this coach and this person in this position to have ever portrayed that I am not a human. And I fuck up. I do. And the point of the matter is, and the reason why kindness is the answer, is that if we can be kind to ourselves and forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we make and just simply learn from them, we're going to allow ourselves to learn. And in learning, we're going to grow. And when we grow, we feel happier. And if we feel happier, we feel calmer as well. It's a massive way to reduce anxiety. Essentially, being kind to yourself is about forgiving yourself if you make a mistake. Forgiving yourself if you overthink something. Forgiving yourself if you forget something. Forgiving yourself if you get angry with someone. Forgiving yourself if you eat the wrong food. Forgiving yourself if you go to bed late because you shouldn't have really been watching Netflix all night, but you did and you messed up. Like, it's just constantly this need to forgive. But that comes back to slowing down enough to notice what's making you unhappy. That's like what I spoke about earlier. So you've got to really slow down in life in general to really notice your own mind, notice what's going on in there. And if you are talking to yourself, because that's what we do, we all do it. If you're talking to yourself unkindly, just notice it. And by noticing it, those thoughts will just pass. And you can maybe then write down in a journal. I really do recommend journaling, by the way. You can write down in a journal what it is you're going to forgive yourself for to make yourself feel at peace. Because I think writing is a very, very, very powerful tool. Journaling is very powerful because when you can write down what you've forgiven yourself for, you get to see it in a whole new light. And that in itself can help you sleep better, help you feel calmer, help you feel gentler on yourself, and just overall I'm happier. So journaling, I really believe, is very, very, very powerful in that way. My friends, that's a wrap. I have really, really enjoyed today, and I have genuinely, I really mean this, felt happier this week. And I felt happier this week, I think, for a few reasons. I'll give you, this is a real personal insight into my life. Number one, I've connected more with my wife. I've given her more kisses, more cuddles. I've held eye contact with her more. I've tried to listen to her to a greater degree with my whole heart and really be much more with her. The second thing I've done is really up my rapid breathing game a lot more, and I've done way more rapid breathing in the morning, the shamanic breathing. So that set of 300 that I do, I've done the 300, but I've done another 300 on top just to see if that makes any difference, and it has. It's made me much clearer up here. And the last thing is, the reason why I think I'm happier is because you guys, being part of this group and being at the helm and creating this community is giving me such a deep joy. I cannot describe it in words, and I feel unbelievably blessed, and it's so cool. Thank you, my friends. I really genuinely mean that, and I'm just really excited, not only about the present moment, about how fun this is, but also about where we're going to be in 2 years, in 4 years, in 6 years, and 10 years, and where this whole journey will go. And the parties we're going to have, the seminars we're going to have, the courses I'm going to run, the books, the stuff I want you guys to do, all this stuff that we're going to be doing, this journey we're going to go on, and it's a real joy, genuinely. I'm going to go and have some. What is for dinner? Dinner is what's dinner? Oh, I know. Yeah, chicken, mustard chicken, rice, broccoli. And then for dessert, I am going to have, what did I make? Oh, pumpkin loaf, which is basically, the ingredients are pumpkin, buckwheat flour, coconut oil, ginger, tiny bit of stevia powder, which I spoke about before. That's a natural sweetener. It's 0 sugar. It's amazing stuff. A little bit of sea salt, baking powder, and I think I baked that about this deep in a dish, like a wide dish. And that is going to be my dessert. And it's just a really healthy way of eating something really, really delicious. Speaking of courses, yes. Now the course, speaking of courses, is something that I'm working on behind the scenes. And it is going to be available very, very soon. It's going to be around my book. It's all going to come in together like a big sort of firework. And the course is going to really be an experience. The Wellness Warrior experience. But I will reveal more as time unfolds. My friends, love you loads. Bye-bye for now.